What is going on, everybody? So today is a video that I don't know if anybody's been waiting on, but we're going to give you the cost breakdown on what it took to build this car. The trusty Z, the Street Time Z as I'm calling it. So we're going to kind of go over everything that I did to the car. I didn't get to film as much when I was building the car because we were busy building the car. Shout out to my buddy Mark. He's the one that helped me out. He's a big Nissan guy. He knows a lot. Not only that, but he knows a lot just in general anyway. So I brought the car to his shop. He helped me out with a lot of this project, and I can't thank him enough for it. So without further ado, let's get into it.
I just bought a 2005, looks brand new. Never made a flop, not a sandal. Nah, I don't trust them and they lying like a dandle. Precision with the way I pick my circle like a banjo. Where would I be if I still counted on you right where I was? Now I could sneeze and drop 100,000 on you. 1, 2, yeah, it's just a mix of the good days and the bad ones. Hope the good days outweigh the bad ones. Get your money right, let it rack up. If I go, at least I know I meant something to someone. Yeah, you meant something to someone too. Yeah, cause you kiss like cotton candy. Don't wanna save you, you don't need no vigilante.
All right, let's start in the front of the car. So to start it off, we got these two-way adjustable Silvers coilovers. Beautiful brand new coilovers, and they work really, really well. The two-way adjustable is one down there and one at the top under the hood. I can show you that later. But yeah, so far so good. Did 2 events on them, and they've been outstanding, and I've been able to adjust them a little bit. I actually hardened the front up a little bit because it was feeling a little soft. So so far I am very, very impressed. These are great coilovers. Everybody swears by them. So and then shout out, we got Rage Drift Co. sporting us with the coilover covers. Got to keep those nice, especially on a street car where yeah, we're gonna try to take care of this one hopefully and not get too much damage. LOL, insert video of crash. Next up, we got the FDF Mini Mantis kit. Comes with that lower bracket there that you see that's in green and this tie rod extended arm, and you literally just bolt it on. It really couldn't be much simpler to bolt on, and realistically that's your angle kit right there. Another important note when you're doing that, this bracket here, there's a bump stop on it that typically goes right here. What you have to do is you actually have to cut that off and grind it flat. Continue on with FDF, we got these camber arms up here. These are optional, they don't come with the kit. I opted to get them just for the more adjustability, but you definitely don't need them. Just something I wanted to have. Next up, we have this power steering speed sensitivity delete. This is a cheap mod, but I've been told that it's absolutely, you need it. So I went ahead and did it. And the worst part about it is taking the old sensor off. We actually had to cut a wrench in half in order to be able to fit it because it's too thin. So I will put that video in here of me cutting that wrench, but we ended up getting it off. This was also optional, but I opted to get the wheel spacers put in the front with the extended studs, just for more wheel clearance inside the wheel well. I didn't know if it would turn all the way with the angle kit and work, but I wanted to make sure that we weren't going to run into any clearance problems. Moving on to the back, I opted for true rear coilovers because I heard that that's best on these cars. So back here, you'll see that this longer arm is a tow arm. This replaces the factory spring bucket from the divorce setup that this car came with. And then you'll see the smaller one is the camber arm. So these will do your toe and camber adjustments, as well as installing the eccentric lockout bolts so that the factory adjustments are no longer doing what they do. Also back here, moving up, we got the subframe. Now this isn't something you'll be able to see, but I installed subframe collars up there. It just makes the bushings a little bit more solid. I guess it's a common thing on these to do that, to solid the rear up, and I did it, and you know, no complaints right now. And it was a pretty easy install. You had to lower it just a little bit to get there. You'll also notice the FDF diff brace. So it attaches on those lower bolts right there on the diff. And yeah, I mean, again, pretty straightforward. Definitely want to, you know, give some strength to the diff so that it doesn't explode. We don't want that. And we also did all the diff bushings in there. I don't know if we're gonna be able to see those, kind of. Yeah, barely. But anyways, all three of them are solid bushings, so that's good. And we did opt to weld the diff. A lot of times people have limited slips. This one was open, so we welded that, and yeah, no issues so far. What are you using there?
Looks like a blue rag, doesn't it?
What is it, welded? Should I, oh no, you gotta put the rag back in there. Yeah, it's welded.
Now it's welded.
Seal it up. All right, next couple things we're gonna talk about: motor mounts. We got solid motor mounts installed there, so that's pretty straightforward. And then right here we have our nice fancy oil cooler. This is the Setrab 25 row oil cooler. We put it on the sandwich plate on the oil pan. So, yep. I probably should have cleaned the engine bay a little bit. Shout out to the OG where we were just at yesterday. Freaking filthy. But anyways, we're under the hood. So now let's get into some of the things that we did here. First thing is coolant swirl pot from GK Tech. I've heard it's super important and to keep the temps down. And I'll tell you what, I drove this thing about no less than 200 laps MB Drift weekend, and the temperature gauge didn't even move, not once. So I attribute it to that, and I thank everybody for the advice to do that, because it was definitely worth it. And last but certainly not least, under the hood, this you can't see in this video, but I will post another video attached to this video. But in here, oil gallery gaskets, humongous problem on these cars, and my car was no different. I'm so glad that I decided to do that. Thanks to everybody for the advice on definitely getting it done. The oil gallery gaskets were totally blown out, and I could have lost oil pressure while drifting and blown the motor. So just preventative maintenance stuff. Super glad I did it. Couple things that I got super lucky on. This car actually came with Stillen intakes, which is pretty cool. Or intake. I don't know if it's one intake system or plural intakes. Either way. Pretty sick. Trick little setup. And then it actually came with exhaust as well. I don't know the brand of the exhaust. I haven't cared to find out, honestly. But it's got a cool little carbon fiber there. Right? I mean, it sounds good, sounds tame. I don't want something that's super loud anyways, so I'm happy with it. Here's my favorite part, the aesthetics, right? We'll start with the front lip. Obviously, it has seen some damage already, which I'm pretty sad about. But either way, I got the front lip. It was, you know, an eBay front lip, pretty cheap, whatever. And I had my boy Kenny paint it. He also painted the ducktail as well. I will show you that soon. We also opted for side skirt extensions, just for fun. Why not? Something you won't really be able to see, but we put underglow under there as well. So at night, she shines. And here's the KBD ducktail. Looking freaking sick. Again, shout out my boy Kenny. Look at that. Purdy. Here's one of my favorite parts. I found these on Marketplace. These are Strom wheels. They're sold overseas. In order to get them here, it's real expensive to ship these bad boys over here with all the tariffs and everything going on. But I got lucky. I got a set of these with the dang tires for 900 bucks on Marketplace. So, again, this is an optional thing, but I mean, it looks sick with it. All right, moving on to the interior of the car. One thing that I'm super proud of is this install of this GK Tech handbrake. It is an inline handbrake. I didn't do the dual caliper. I wanted to keep it simple. That's personal opinion. A lot of people do dual caliper. My BMW was never dual caliper either, so that's the setup I'm used to. But it's got double din radio, Apple CarPlay, AC, heat. You guys already know that stuff. I was on the fence about changing the steering wheel and the seats, but after drifting this for 2 events, the seat holds me in pretty good and the steering wheel feels great. So I think that's money that I can save and keep in my pocket because, like I said, this is going to be just a simple street time car. So we're just keeping it simple. All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, what did I spend? This whole piece of paper is everything we just talked about, okay? Now, I'll get into what's optional, but I'll tell you what I spent just to be fully transparent with you. So, I spent, including buying the car, now remember, well, not remember because you don't know, but I bought the car at auction for $36.50 plus fees, which is right around $1,000 bucks. The total I paid for the car picked up was $4,595. That's just for the car, okay? Everything else that I just mentioned brings our grand total, and I got to do some math because I have some optional stuff included with this, but looks like the total would be $13,625.49 total that I have into this car. Now, there's a couple things that are optional, and I'll tell you, obviously the wheels are super optional. You don't need that. That was $2,000 of my cost here. I did get Strom wheels that I told you about for 900 bucks, but what I didn't tell you is I actually have 6 stage wheels that I bought also from a local drifter, Nate Roberts, for 1,100 bucks. So I'm $2,000 worth into wheels. That is super optional. You don't need to have that. That brings the total down to $11,625. Also, the optional stuff is all the front lip, side skirt extensions, underglow, KBD, all this stuff to make it look kind of fancy while on track. That adds up to about $1,000, especially after paint and everything like that. So super optional there. Now you're down to $10,000. The front camber arms were $465. That's optional. That brings you actually down to about $10,000. Everything else, wheel spacers might save you $100 there. You don't necessarily need the oil cooler kit. You don't necessarily need the solid diff bushings and motor mounts and everything, but all of that stuff is going to make it drive better. So I don't really want to take anything else off of the cost, but in general, if someone was to build this, you have to equate for about $10,000 if you're going to find this car at auction. Good luck. I scoured it for about 6-7 months before I finally found one that was worth buying. And even then it was still a mystery, but it was worth it. Worth noting as well for me, the Silver's two-way coilovers that I put on this thing, they're valued at $2,300. I got lucky and I won them from coming in second place at CMD last year. So really $2,300 of that 10 grand I didn't pay for. So that knocks it down even more for me. It's more like an $8,000 build for me at that rate. And you can save yourself money there too, because BCs are like $1,000 bucks. So there are definitely ways to save money, but there are things that you definitely need to buy that are on this list in order to create a drift car out of one of these. But yeah, those are my final numbers. So like I said, roughly $13,600 plus or minus a couple of things depending on how you look at it. I'm going to do some boy math and say that I'm in it at about 10 grand. Also worth noting, just something completely separate, I did de-airbag the car, took them all out. The side curtain airbags are selling right now for like $500-600 a piece, and there's 2 of them. So I might get $1,000 back off those airbags. So hit me up if you've got a 370, you need some airbags. But yeah, other than that, that's my Z. I'll put in some clips of driving. The car is great. It works really, really well. My final thoughts on the car. Don't compare it to my BMW. Completely different cars. This thing does something completely different than that car. This is a comfortable street car. I literally drove it to off-grid yesterday, drifted all day, and drove home. It's full interior, full weight. You know, the car drifts different than the BMW does. The BMW is raw, it's competitive, it's a good car, you know, obviously caged and all that. So apples and oranges for sure, but if you're just getting into drifting, this is a great car to do it. It has plenty of power and supposedly reliable. We'll see, time will tell that. I'm not really sure. So my final thoughts are, I am super happy that I got this car. Can't wait to party with it this year, really. That's what it's all about. And keep the events off of the BMW a little bit because it was getting stressful last year. So, but yeah, the BMW will still be out. You'll see it, I promise. But this is where it's at right now. All right. Like the video, subscribe, do all the things, hit all the likes and the buttons and everything. And we'll see you next time.
Wanna do a little dancey dance. You look good, you a fancy pants. You only a 6 on an Enneagram. Outside of that, you outside of that, you a 10. Yeah, yeah, outside of that, you a 10. Yeah, I love the way that you pick your friends. You know what they mean, never means to an end. I know what I need, no need to pretend. Like the air I breathe, so you leaving again. I don't know what that means. Show the world what it take to make it look this easy. Get everything I wish for, I got a big genie. They said, are you extreme? I said, extremely. Sorry, boy, it's my summer, get them next season. 1, 2, yeah, it's just a mix of the good days and the bad ones. Hope the good days outweigh the bad ones. Get your money right, let it rack up. If I go, at least I know I meant something to someone. Yeah, you meant something to someone too. Cause you kiss like cotton candy. Don't wanna save you, you